Okay, in this video we're going to take you through how to get the garage walls and foundation and detail views set up onto sheets. So in the assignment, there's 3 sheets that are to be submitted for the garage. First is the actual garage plan. This is where it shows the garage walls, the 2x4 walls with dimensions and notation. And then there's the foundation wall and footer with notation. And then additionally in the detail sections, the detail section at the garage door, a typical garage wall, and then a longitudinal section through the garage itself with the detail callouts for the 2 detailed sections. So let's go ahead and start getting this set up. First thing we'll do is we'll set up our sheets. The garage detail section will be A113, and the garage foundation A111, and then the walls will be A112. So we can go ahead and start setting those up in Revit. So back here in Revit, we'll go to Sheets All, right click, New Sheet, and then we'll go ahead and load that same 8.5 by 11 title block that we've been working with, and we'll go ahead and rename this one right away, A111, and then this will become our foundation. Okay, so that's for our garage foundation. Then we'll go ahead and drop our next one in right away. And that one will become A112. And that's going to be our garage plan, or actually just call it garage. All right, and then the next one we'll go ahead and throw in here is going to be our details. Garage section details. All right, so now we're all set up here. So we'll go first back to our garage foundation. This is garage foundation A111, and then we're going to come up here to the garage foundation that we've been working with. So where we've been doing all of our work here for our garage has been on this BO of the foundation. Now this was the original BO foundation, bottom of foundation drawing sheet that we worked with. Now that is still set up on my foundation drawing. So, but what has happened is you can now see that that crop region has been pulled across and it looks all sort of messed up here because it's not set up for the size sheet. So given that we have a sheet size that's not going to work with the drawing scale that we have, we need to set up a break. So to do that with Revit, what we have to do is we need to duplicate the view. Because if we go back to the foundation and we try to just take BO foundation and drag it onto the sheet, it's going to give us this error that says this view is already placed on a different sheet. We can't do it. So it says place a similar view on a sheet. You can use the duplicate view or duplicate with detailing command to create a copied view. And you can duplicate as a dependent. That makes different types of views. So what we'll do is we'll jump back into here and show you what that means. So over here in the browser, I'm going to select the BO foundation, right click, and come down to duplicate view. So what I want to do here is I want to duplicate the view with detailing, which means all of the dimensions will come with it. But it's not going to be as a dependent, meaning that if I make changes to my BO foundation for the house foundation, it's not going to make changes to my garage. So I want these to be 2 separate plans, but based off of the same model setup. So we'll go ahead and duplicate with detailing. So when I do that, it says now BO foundation copy 1. Well, now this is where things get confusing. So I want to go ahead and just rename these. This is going to be BO foundation, and I'm going to call this garage. So I want this one to be based for the garage. And then I'm going to rename this one because this one is going to be the house. So now with this set up, this should, and actually rename this so I get a little space in here too. Now this will be set up. Yes, always rename in corresponding views. Now, so I have my garage foundation here. This is the one that I'm going to now set up a crop region. Notice that when you select these outside crops, there's 2 lines. One is dashed and then the other one's solid. The solid line is for what you can see in the drawing, okay? And then the dashed line is for your notation. Anything outside of this line will not show up if it's a notation, dimension, or anything other like. So now this is what we're going to set up and should be able to take to drag this onto my sheet so I can see it on my sheet. So let's go to Garage Foundation and go back up to my BO Foundation for Garage and pull this over and then drop it on the sheet. So now you can see that this is going to be my garage foundation, and this joins my house foundation drawing. Now my house foundation drawing is still back here, so we'll jump back into that foundation drawing. And now this is where this foundation drawing needs to be adjusted a little bit. So I'm going to get in to take this drawing and take this back, because I'm going to probably still need to have a foundation drawing for the house. Then I'm not going to fit it all into this size sheet. So with that set up, I can do this. Now the only thing we need to do next is we need to start naming where these sheets join with. Okay, so this drawing right here, so the garage drawing, is going to actually join with the new garage foundation A111. So what is appropriate to do now is to start setting up some text. And actually I don't need arrows on my text for this, so I'm going to actually turn the arrow off. And I'm just going to do a little jaunt here. It's going to say joins. This is going to be sheet, let's see, A111. So this cutoff joins up with A11. Then I'm going to go back to A111 and do the same thing here, where I'm going to then call this out and say that this joins A, what was that, 100.1. All right, and that's what that joins up with. So with that set up, we now know where things are going to link up. Now that's still set up. If I went to my sheet, setting up here, so it joins that sheet. Now in the assignment, you can see it says joins level plan, or you can come up here and you can see what it actually calls out on the sheets. Is this says joins house foundation on A101-1. As long as it's telling you where you're getting set up to go and how this is being set up, that's fine. The numbers all correspond to what's happening, to where you're going. That's the important part. So now we're ready to start adding our notation and adding our information to our sheets. This is a fairly simple process. What we've done already here in the past, jump into the annotation tab, and we'll start adding dimensions. Oh, first I gotta activate the view. Then I can get in here and I can start adding dimensions to my drawing, making sure that as I pull my dimensions out here, that things are gonna line up, things stay nice and neat, things stay clean, and start working around the drawing. And come back, we'll do an overall outside here and set that up into, whoops, that's the wrong dimension. Drag that one out to here. There we go, 14, 2 3/4. And you can always jump back into the assignment and take a look at some of the overall dimensions here to see that the garage walls, they have a dimension set. The foundation walls, they have a dimension set as well to make this all work. Then just go back through and make sure that the dimensions that are given are the dimensions that you are making sure you are giving in your drawings. And because they're the dimensions we needed when we went back and originally built this particular setup drawing. So we'll keep working our way back around here. Pull this out to here. And then it's also important that when you have a dimension like this against the house, you pull that all the way down here across and off the sheet. This dimension would actually get pulled really far way up off the sheet if it could fit, but it won't fit. So that's why we're setting this up in this position here. Okay, so we have a bunch of dimensions set up on here. Now we can probably start going through and adding some notation. I will grab the annotation tab. I will grab my material tag, and we'll start working around tagging the materials that we have in our wall. So there's our solid CMU. Probably gonna have some rigid foam here. Set this up. And we really want to make sure that they stay as clean and neat as we can get them to be here. So 4-inch concrete with mesh. This is looking like what we have going on here is that our slab is hiding our other cinder block here. So I'm going to do a little panning window across the corner. Grab my filter tool. And I can see that I have floors, stacked walls, and walls. So I'm going to uncheck the stacked walls and walls only so the floors are highlighted. Then with the floors highlighted, I'm going to come down to my sunglasses down here, and I'm going to hide them. What that's going to do is it's going to open up my ability then to be able to grab a hold of, well, there's the footer, there's the foam. Still not able to see that for some reason. So if you still can't see that, what you do is you just note it. Grab my annotation tab, grab my text tool, and then I'm just going to go ahead and pull a note from that, and then I'm just going to type in that this is an 8 by 16. So we'll make sure 8 by 16, and we'll just put CMU. All right, there we go. So if it's not tagging and it's not showing up, it's just as easy sometimes to go ahead and note that object. All right, so with that all set up, just continue to go through and note as it is given here. Don't forget 24 by 24 concrete footer with the CMU pier. This is in the middle of the concrete slab for support. So to continue through, let's go ahead and let's get this section set up. We haven't done a section like this before where we're going to pull details from. So we'll go ahead to grab architecture. Actually, no, we're going to grab the view tab because I want to view the drawing. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull a section through the entire drawing here. Now, I want to pull this back because I just need a thin slice of this drawing. And I'm actually going to move this thing forward a little bit, so I'm definitely cutting through the garage section, and I'm going to pull it also so I can see my pier. I want to be able to have my pier in view. Then we're going to go ahead and jump to that longitudinal section here. And now we're taking a look to see what's going on. Oh, it looks like my 8 by 16 wall was not pulled into position somehow. So we're going to go ahead and put that up into position. See the things you get to see when you jump into a section view. Then you take a look to make sure everything else is running through here. It's clean and clear. We've got our insulation running. Everything here looks good. So the next thing we'll do is make sure our levels are showing up. Make sure they're not overlapping each other. Pull that up so we can see everything. These levels here aren't going to be in view, so we'll pull the crop up. That's good. And then we're going to go ahead and drop that. All right, so they're looking good. And it's going to be set up off of this area here. So we'll go ahead and let's start the view, and I want to do a detail call out. So I'm going to first set up a detail call out of the garage area. Then I want to take this and just pull this up and out of the way so it's a little easier to see. And we'll go ahead and make a second detail call out. And this is going to be for the typical wall over here. And we'll take that and go ahead and pull that up and outside. Then we can go ahead and start dimensioning, I should say noting all of the objects and all the materials. So the nice part is most, if not all, these materials should be recognized by our materials, because this is how we've set up all of our materials so that they will be recognized and easily tagged. Something very nice here about Revit. So now the big key is going through and setting up all of your materials so that they are visible, they are neat, they are clean, and it's understood. Let's also jump into our details here. So I'm going to jump into Revit's details. We'll just jump into this garage detail. And same thing, got to first, when we jump into a detail, jump into any view, we got to make sure that our levels are clean and away from each other. And then again, just start jumping in and starting to note all the materials that need to be set up well, now see, that's telling me it's not visible. What that's really telling me is that my crop needs to be pulled out. Once the crop comes out, then you can see that text. So we'll go through and we'll start noting all those. We can also jump back to the section, get into this detail view. Same thing, go through and note. Then what we're going to do is we start pulling those onto sheets. So we'll go up here into our section areas, and first thing I'll do is I'll pull the large section onto the sheet. And we'll set that one up down here at the bottom, and I believe that one is set up at 1/4 inch equals a foot. And we'll go ahead and crop that down so that fits. And then we're going to go ahead and grab, okay, here it is on the sheet. And then we just need to start setting these up so that we can see these. They're all fit and everything is nice and tidied. So I usually pull them both on first to make sure they're going to line up. Then we start cropping and moving and pulling views in so that they fit. That's where it comes into play, becomes a little bit of the magic to make everything fit onto a sheet. Now this is going to be at 1/2 inch equals a foot. Make sure you understand that. And good luck setting up your sheets.